we get in here, did some scouting. We found this little flat that's surrounded by these big bluffs and draws. And it looks like there's a lot of deer using this. We got scrapes and rubs all around us. Got a scrape right out here. We're gonna set this camera up over it and see what happens. And by this camera I mean none other than a Reconyx, of course. There's nothing to this. It's simply place, turn it on, wait for the prompt, and arm. And that's it. Like a ghost, we're gone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kansas. I've been jacked about this hunt all year. The way we're hunting here is we've got this little flat that's at the end of a draw, and we've got a creek at the end of this draw, and it narrows right here, and it forces these deer to walk through where we're set up. At the tops of the hills on either side of this draw is all bedding, but it's a weird kind of bedding. It's tall grass and it's cedars, and it's just practically unhuntable terrain. So what we're doing here is we're looking for any big bucks that may be cruising this flat, looking for does. We already had a couple does sneak through on this side hill over here, and we're gonna do some calling, we're gonna do some rattling, we're gonna do some grunting, whatever it takes to catch a cruising buck. We've got standing beans outside the edge of the creek here, so hopefully catching the doe is coming back. We catch a hot one, a buck on her tail, you never know. So we're gonna sit tight and see what comes our way, and we'll let you know as soon as we see something. So don't go too far. You're watching In Pursuit Television.
This young buck is the first deer that walks past Jake's stand. Now, even though it's not a target animal, seeing the buck up and moving around at this time of the day is encouraging. But Jake is not encouraged by this sight. A couple coyotes that are no doubt also on the hunt for some fresh venison. And then just a short time later, these two bobcats cruise through the area. Jake knows that there's not much chance a shooter buck will show up with this many predators in the immediate vicinity.
Fourth morning of our hunt here in Kansas. A little bit of a change of pace. It was 20 degrees this morning in the truck, and it's dead calm. There is zero wind. It is absolutely silent in the woods. So we're going to try and use that to our advantage, and try and reach out and touch some deer with the horns and the grunt call. I don't know, the weather's perfect. We couldn't ask for it to be any better, so here we are. We'll let you know how it goes from here. But stay tuned. It's still November. Right down here. The doe. I gotta deflect. That's how you rattle in a Kansas whitetail. That was intense. We just went from 0 to 60 in the matter of a rattling sequence. Wow. That's why I love November, because it can be slow like it has been for 4 days, and you hit the horns countless times, and then all of a sudden one time you hit them and boom, it explodes. Wow. Maybe somebody should bring me up to speed. I can't believe what just happened. That was wild. Back-to-back Nebraska, Kansas. We've been gone from home for 14 days now. This has been a trip, and I've got 2 whitetails to show for it, and I am jacked. I'm just stoked. I can't explain to you. It was a tough hit. We got to deflect with the branch on the arrow. You know, what do? I mean, it's thick and brushy in here, and we tried to clear out shooting lanes as best as possible, but that was the last possible shot I had at that deer, and yeah, it's the rut. They're gonna run around. I mean, so. But he's down right there. We just watched him go down. You know, the femoral artery back there. I wouldn't say aim for it, but got the job done. So, well, in the meantime, I'm gonna climb down and go get a hold of him, and I'll catch up with you in a couple seconds here and bring you along for the trip. So, come on. Well, we saw him go down, so it was an easy track, needless to say. I'd say he went less than 50 yards from where he was standing when I took the shot. So anyway, I'm gonna go get my hands on him. Let's give you a closer look. We have several pictures of this deer with the Reconyx, and that makes me happy because it proves that you can kill a deer that you have pictures of, and I love those cameras. That's twice now this year I've been able to take a deer we have multiple pictures of. You gotta love those Reconyx. You gotta love Kansas. You gotta love November. And you gotta love rattling a buck like this in. What an intense situation that was. There's nothing like pausing for a second from a rattling sequence and hearing a bunch of crashing coming down the hill to you. Made my day, made the trip. I'm jacked. Quick shout outs. Corey Weedle, appreciate everything, man. I owe you again. My buddy Ryan, the fireman. You helped us out more than you know, man. I really appreciate it. And of course, last but not least, the man behind the camera, Mr. Brock Goose Pulver. Thanks for sticking with me, man. She was a tough one. We had some tough times starting out, and once we got going, we really stuck with it, and it paid off, as you can see.